Welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Justin Riley, and I hope you stick around. We've got a great show coming up for you today. First, if you're hungry and you want to talk food, look no further than these two gentlemen from Madison College's Culinary Arts School, I suppose, is the best way to describe it. We have Chef John Johnson and Paul Short. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good to have you with us today.
Thank you, thank you.
So you guys are, well, not you guys, but a new facility is being constructed, a culinary arts facility. You have a bakery, decorative arts facility. For viewers who haven't driven past the Truax campus recently over on Anderson Street over on the north side, give us a brief update on what's going on, what's the progress like, when is it going to be ready to hold classes, and when is it expected to be completely finished?
We are undergoing a brand new construction for our facility, so we're gaining about 6,000 more square feet for the programs, I should say. And believe it or not, we will be ready to move in there by fall.
Wow, okay.
So construction has moved rather quickly, I would say. So 3/4 of the entire project will be finished by then. And then by 2017, there's just some small areas that will be finished off. So.
Sure, okay. So you'll be ready to move in by September, and then they'll kind of do some smaller areas after that.
That's right.
Excellent,
right.
excellent. Yeah. So how is this facility different from the one that's being replaced?
Well, first of all, we're gaining space, which is desperately needed.
Sure.
We're all like this sometimes when we have a bunch of students in there. But we're adding meat fabrication, or adding a garde-manger station, or the cold kitchen. The first-year students get to actually be alone instead of being invaded all the time, and just again learner-centered. Each student gets their own stove.
Sure.
Instead of being group-centered, where sometimes we have 4 or 5 students working on a project. Now they're all individuals. We can give individual attention. It'll raise their skills much faster.
And the hospitality industry is big here in Madison, obviously. We have a vibrant restaurant community across the state, and the demand for skilled workers in the industry obviously continues to grow. So will you have capacity? Will this allow you the capacity to train more students to kind of fulfill that need?
Yes, and in fact, the skills lab that John spoke of will be able to take 20 students at a time into that lab. And currently we run 5 labs. We'll be able to run up to 10 labs. So we'll be able to double our capacity.
Very cool, very cool. And I understand that the new facility is also going to include a retail bakery that will be open to the public. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Susan Daly, our instructor for baking pastry arts, it's going to be open Monday through Friday, 8 to 4.
Okay.
People can come in and if they're making bread, you know, all the different types of breads, or just sweets or cookies or pies or whatever. But yeah, it's going to be awesome.
So the students are gonna be helping out to produce some of the product that you're
Actually, the students make all the products.
Oh wow! Okay.
The faculty don't. We instruct and help them or guide them through those things. But if the student doesn't make it, it doesn't get shown.
Okay.
Right.
So,
it's not going to help them if we're making it.
Right. Yeah,
so,
that's true. They need that real world experience.
Yeah, everything is driven by the students.
That's
We're just there to help facilitate their understanding and their information.
That's so cool. That, I mean, not to say that you're kind of throwing them in at the deep end at the very beginning, but I mean it's cool that they get that real world experience. They at least get to get their feet wet from the very outset.
It's an important part of the education.
Yeah.
They really do need to be the ones that are performing the tasks and showing us that they can do those skills. Not only do we facilitate, but along the way we are looking at those skills, and we're coming back to them and saying, well, perhaps if you tried this, or you should look at improving on these parts.
We have less than a minute left. Can you talk to us about an evening of good taste? What is that about?
Love to talk to you about it. It stopped for a couple of years because of the new construction that was going on. So we're bringing it back May 7th. $75 a ticket.
Yeah.
Go to the foundation website.
Yeah.
Click on events.
Okay.
Order your tickets. It's 3 hours of appetizers and libations, and the band's playing, and it's a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
May 7th, 5 to 8.
May 7th, 5 to 8. They can get their tickets online. Then.
Online.
They can get them online.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Chefs John Johnson and Paul Short, thank you so much for joining us today. Don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk spray tanning right here on Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. If you have interest in tanning, but maybe are a little nervous to go to tanning beds, our next guest is for you. This is Crystal Herbrand from A Healthy Glow, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about spray tanning today. Welcome, Crystal.
Hello.
Good to have you with us today.
Glad to be here.
So first, tell us a little bit about A Healthy Glow spray tanning studio. Give us a little bit of a background.
It's just a strictly spray tanning studio, no UV, nothing. I have two options, either the custom or the booth. The booth is great for just more privacy.
Sure.
And with the custom, it's myself spray tanning. So.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Custom or booth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. And what made you decide to open A Healthy Glow?
When I was 28 years old, I found out I had melanoma skin cancer. So,
oh, wow.
Yep, I decided that I wanted to do something different, obviously.
Right.
So I thought, you know what, I liked doing what I was doing, and I like making people feel good, because when
Sure.
they leave, they're always in a way better mood than they are when they came in. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. And forgive me for asking, but were you at the time when you were diagnosed with melanoma, were you a product of
Yes.
traditional tanning beds?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I got it from, pretty sure from tanning beds. I mean,
Okay.
there's really no other way to
Sure,
get it
sure.
from.
Yeah. So talk about some of the services that you offer.
So like I said, I have the booth, and then I have the custom, and like I said prior, it's a lot of people like having the option so that that's not like so scary when they come in.
Sure.
And most people like to try the booth and
Yeah.
then go the custom because they feel a little bit more comfortable and all
Sure.
that. So.
Absolutely. Walk me through how does that work? How does the booth work? How do some of the other things that you
So
do
with the
work?
booth, you walk into a booth and it sprays you. I take you in the room and direct
Okay.
you how it all works and let you know. I don't just throw you in there and say, hey, good luck. I try to walk you through it.
Come out in 10 seconds.
Exactly. So I try to make it more comfortable for them. With the custom, it's my self-spray tanning, so that's
Okay.
where the privacy, people get a little bit
Sure.
worried about that, but it's...
Sure. So this is an actual service that you offer, and a lot of folks, I think, myself included, when I think spray tanning, I go to the store, I buy a can of spray tan, and I just start washing myself with the
Yes.
stuff. So
Yep.
what is the difference? Why go to somebody to do that?
So this is just going to be a higher quality product.
Okay.
So the way that it absorbs into that top layer of your dead skin is just going to be a lot nicer, and then you don't have to worry about that horrid Oompa Loompa orange look that everybody worries about, which I get all the time.
Right.
And a lot of it starts with what your pH is and what you put in your body. It's not so much the spray tan, it's how it reacts to your pH.
Sure. So it sounds to me like it's almost a custom type of thing where somebody comes in and you can kind of find the spray that's going to be the best fit for them.
Yep. I have a bunch of different solutions that I use, and I kind of pick on your skin tone and type what is
Yeah.
the best for your skin tone and type.
Sure. I suppose that would be kind of the difference between, buying hair dye from a box at the store versus
Yep, a
going to
hairstylist will know
salon.
what will look good on you.
Yeah.
So I like to think I
Yeah.
will do the same.
You're a skin stylist.
Exactly,
There you
yes.
go. So what is your favorite part of the job?
I just love it when people leave and they're like, oh my God, I love this, or I get the reviews and I get
Yeah.
the call the next day being like, it's so good, I was so nervous and you made me feel at ease. That's
Sure.
what I love to do.
Yeah.
So,
How long have you been open now?
4.5 years.
Okay. Things going well for you?
Really, really good. Yeah, it's picking up. I'm more of a word of mouth business. So.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, hopefully this word coming from your mouth will spread a little bit.
I hope so.
Yeah. So you're in Wanakee. Are you originally from Wanakee?
Yes, yep, born and raised, never left. Married someone from Wanakee too.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. So you've owned the business for 4.5 years now,
Yep.
and things are going well.
Yep.
Any changes or things that are coming on the horizon? Any specials coming up or anything like that?
Not right now, but with wedding season coming, I always try to get a few specials in there, and I'm
Sure.
always trying to look for what could be the new biggest add-on that I can do. So hopefully big things to come in the future at some point in time.
How long does that stuff? We just have about a minute left. I'm wondering how long does that stuff stay on your skin then? If let's say a bride was interested in using your services before their wedding.
Yep.
When do they get it done, and how long does it last?
I recommend coming down on a Wednesday or Thursday for a Saturday event, just because most people like that 2 days after. I think it's more or less because they're used.
Yeah.
They're so used to being one color, and then they're all of a sudden another
sure.
shade.
There's a little bit of a shock to that, yeah.
Exactly. So most of it should last anywhere from 7 to 10 days, depending on how you take care of it.
Wow. So you
yep.
can shower and everything? and
Oh yeah, yep.
that's
I
wild.
recommend showering 8 to 12 hours after it.
Okay.
Because we don't want you covered in that.
Right,
So.
absolutely. Crystal Herbrand from A Healthy Glow Studio in Wanakee. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Don't go away. There's more Talk of the Town coming up right after this. Stick around. And welcome back to Talk of the Town. If you've ever wondered about surrogacy or becoming a surrogate mother, then you should look no further than Christy Olson from Forward Fertility, and she joins me now in the studio. Christy, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I think it's I'm filling in for Rich today. I think it's a nice coincidence that you and I get to talk again because I enjoyed our talk. It was probably about 6 months ago that you came on.
I think you're right.
So,
yeah.
For viewers who aren't familiar with Forward Fertility, talk to them about what does Forward Fertility do.
Forward Fertility is an egg donor and surrogacy agency based right here in Madison, Wisconsin. And as a nurse practitioner and the owner of Forward Fertility, I help women who want to be egg donors or gestational surrogates and help them connect with the couples in need of those services to form their families.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Now you're here to talk a little bit about an event that you have, 2 events that you have coming up called How Surrogacy Works. What can people attending these events, and the information should be across the lower third of your screen if you're interested in going, what can people attending these events expect?
Yeah, it's a really informal event. Some people will bring a friend or their partner. There's one on the east side of Madison, one on the west side of Madison. And essentially it's about an hour to 2 hours. There's a brief overview, a presentation of the various steps of surrogacy. There are also a couple women who have been gestational surrogates who will be there on hand to kind of answer questions about what it's really like. And it's just a really nice informal time to learn a little bit more and get some information about the process.
I have to imagine that for women who are thinking about becoming surrogates, I mean, that's got to be kind of a scary thing because, there's a lot of questions that I think they might have. And I think having those surrogates, people who have been surrogates before on hand is great.
It really makes a big difference. There's also a little video clip I have of some clients I've worked with kind of sharing their story so that the surrogates, the people attending can kind of see who these families are who are needing some help.
Sure. Why do women become surrogates?
It's interesting. It's kind of that rare person that you meet every now and again who says, oh, I loved being pregnant and it was so easy. And they're often the helper people in our communities.
Sure.
So you think of teachers or nurses,
Sure.
people in customer service, and just really women who want to help others experience parenthood.
Yeah, absolutely. And other than being a woman, obviously, what are the requirements to becoming a surrogate?
Yeah, a lot of it is just sort of common sense things that you would think, hey, if somebody was going to carry my child into this world, what would I want? So they generally are in their mid-20s to mid-30s. They're healthy. They've already had at least one healthy pregnancy, financially stable, emotionally stable, and a generally healthy medical history. There are obvious things too, no smoking, drugs,
Sure.
that kind of stuff.
Right, yeah. Basic things,
Yeah.
I suppose. So what makes Forward Fertility unique amongst other places that do the same thing?
Yeah, nationwide there are several hundred surrogacy agencies or egg donor agencies. And I think coming from a nursing perspective with starting Forward Fertility from being a nurse who's worked in an IVF clinic, my goal is really to connect with the surrogate and the family and kind of guide them through the whole process. So I'm really involved from day one, typically postpartum.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So people know that Christy's going to take care of them. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, I can't always guarantee exactly what'll happen,
Right.
but I'm definitely there with them, and really to sort of, because this is something new for most people, since I have seen many of these cycles, I can kind of help guide us by saying, hey, let's not do that because
Sure.
here's what could happen.
Or if they experience something that they weren't expecting, you can say, nope, that's normal, that's totally okay, that
Exactly.
happens to this percentage of the people. that do
Exactly.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've heard that gestational surrogates are not genetically related to their baby, and I think that's probably would be something that would be of consideration, at least, to folks who are thinking of trying to find a surrogate to carry their child. Is my baby going to be technically related to this surrogate mother? I
Yeah.
mean, can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. The technology of fertility treatment is sort of so far ahead of the conversation socially.
Okay.
So many people don't even realize that the technology exists to create an embryo in a laboratory and then place that embryo inside of a woman to whom she's not genetically related to that embryo. So
Right.
I think that does a couple things. For the surrogate, it helps her sort of understand that this is not her child. She's simply
Right.
helping bringing it into the world.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
Christy Olson from Forward Fertility. There's 2 forwards coming up. They're next. Forward Fertility, thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to find out more about these 2 great events that are coming up, go to their website, check it out, and find out how you can get involved. Coming up next on Talk of the Town, we will talk with our good friend Marianne from Moving Forward. Stay with us. And welcome back to Talk of the Town. You should recognize this very friendly, familiar face. This is Marianne Garidi from Moving Forward. Welcome back, Marianne.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, always good to have you in the studio. So for those of us who don't know, for the viewers who aren't familiar with what you do with Moving Forward, you guys are senior move managers.
Correct, yes.
So what is a senior move manager?
Sure. So a senior move manager is actually somebody who's been trained through the National Association of Senior Move Managers. And there's about 1,000 of us around the country, and we all kind of follow a code of ethics. And the thing to know is that really we go into this profession because we want seniors to have a really stress-free, calm, move and get them to where they need to be. And it tends to be stressful, so we try to remove all that stress from them.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Making a smooth transition, I think,
Exactly.
is important.
Yes.
So I'm guessing that you probably get contacted by the adult children of a
We
lot
do.
of these folks. What is that like? What does that whole process
Sure.
look like?
Yeah, and it's really interesting because, one thing that I hear way too often is that I meet somebody and they always say, where were you, 5 years ago when I had to move my mom? And it's really sad because what happens is it's a very stressful time for the children as the senior as well. But the children really want to help their parents through this, and they feel like there's a lot of work to do. And what happens is there's two ways that the children tend to deal with it. And so one is all the kids might get together over a weekend, and they'll just come when mom's there, and they go through all of her stuff. They get a dumpster. They start just throwing things in there, and there's a lot of arguments because they're telling mom what to bring and what not to
Right,
bring,
yeah,
and so it's
yeah.
really stressful when they do it that way. But just because of people's schedules, it happens like that. And then the other way that the kids sometimes deal with it is they'll just kind of have to drag it on for years because of their schedule. So they'll come by every Sunday, for months or years until they get the job done. And again, it's just feeling like this, overwhelming task. And they really want to do it correctly. They just don't know where to start. So they'll often call to kind of help through that process.
Yeah, and it's great to have kind of an extra pair of eyes, even, so to speak, to kind of somebody who's impartial to say, yeah, we can help you with this, and you don't have the attachment to some of the items that they may not want to get rid of and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. And then with that too, sometimes kids, they feel like because it was their mom's, they feel like they should take it. And so I
Right.
think we kind of help the kids through that discussion as well, that even though the mom or the dad really loved this item, it was really their item, and they don't really have to feel that they have to take it and really use the dining room table if it doesn't fit in their
Right.
space. So kind of, working through that with the kids as well, that it's okay, to leave things that was special to your mom, but maybe you have a different view of it. So
those are some of the things that you would talk to some of these adult children about.
Correct.
Do you really need this? What things do you really want to keep? What things do you think would fit in your house? Are those basically the things that you're talking about with the kids?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And then, from there, then we kind of go back to the parent and just kind of help them with that same discussion about what's
Sure.
going to fit in their new space. And then we remind both of them that there are plenty of people out there who could really use some of these items. So if they
Sure.
are ready to part with them, then we find good homes for the items that, they can go ahead and part with.
Absolutely, finding good
yeah.
homes for people who really need them.
Right.
So how long does the process typically take once you start helping a family?
Boy, we're really pretty quick, actually.
Yeah.
So once we get going, and again, because of the situation that people are in, they kind of tend not to call us until something has happened, either a
Right.
fall or a death or something that something has happened where they really need to finish up the house and get it cleared out or move their parent. So I'd say most of our jobs are about 2 weeks process. So from start to finish, we get into a house with lots of items, totally full, 3,000 square foot house, and we can have the client happily moved, all settled in their new apartment, making sure they're good to go, and then back to the house to make sure we get the house ready then to sell. So I'd
Yes.
say 2 weeks is pretty standard for lots of our jobs.
That's amazing, though. I
So-
mean, if you look at some of the things that people collect over their years, I mean, they've been living in the same place for 40, 50 years, and
Right.
they start collecting those things. I mean, that's pretty amazing to get them out,
It is.
get it all out and ready to go in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a great feeling, especially, like I said, when people have been dealing with this for years,
Right.
and it's been keeping the senior from moving to where they want to go, into a nice independent community. And so again, we're just kind of the final step that they need so they can say, okay, I could do this. And that's
Sure.
really a good spot for them to be.
So the whole premise of this is kind of downsizing. I'm not sure if
is.
is that a bad word to
No,
use in
no,
your
it's a great
industry?
word. And
Okay.
I think everyone should downsize, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah,
Even you.
everybody. Yeah, I should definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, no argument there. What are there some general downsizing tips that you can offer viewers?
Sure, and I think that one of the things I like to say to people, if you don't love it, if you don't love it, you can easily replace it if you feel like you need it down the road, and you can live without it. It's probably a really good thing just to let that item go.
Yeah.
As you know, as just general Americans, I think we all tend to accumulate lots of stuff, and things are always coming out with newer, better,
Yeah.
and so we just have these things in our houses.
Yeah.
So really, just kind of trying to pare it down and really just think that way. That's
Yeah.
a really good tip. If you don't love it, just let it go.
Marianne Garidi from Moving Forward, thank you so much for
Thank
joining us
you.
today. And that's all the time we have for Talk of the Town. We'll see you next time.